The manhunt for escaped inmate Grant Hardin has entered day 4. Lauren Spencer will join us live from Calico Rock with the latest on where the search stands this afternoon. And local leaders in Arkoma are weighing options as a sewer rate hike looms. We'll break down what's on the table.
Covering news where you live. This is 5 News at Noon.
Well, thank you for joining us for your 5 News at Noon. I'm Morgan Wrigley here with our newest meteorologist, Danny Cassidy. Hello. So if you're watching 5 News this morning, you've already seen him, but first time on the Noon.
I know. It's very nice to be here again. It's been awesome the past couple of weeks, learning from everybody, getting to know everyone. Everyone's been so welcoming and very friendly. I couldn't be more happy to be here.
Well, we're so happy to have you here, and it sounds like, luckily for you, the forecast hasn't been treating you too bad.
No,
today.
Except for that first day with severe weather.
You got off to a rocky start.
It has been pretty nice, except for just kind of the wet weather this past weekend. But today, not too shabby. So we'll talk about that here. Temperatures right now are going to be in the mid to upper 60s in northwest Arkansas, low to mid 70s for the most part there, except for Poto in the River Valley. A lot of cloud cover hanging around, and that's just been kind of the day today and the day yesterday. The difference is there isn't really any mist out there like there was yesterday, which is kind of a pest, right? Today, not as much. We're getting a few peaks of sunshine here and there, as you can see on satellite radar, to get a little bit of a better look. A little bit more towards off the north and to the west there. You can see a couple of peaks here and there, but for the most part, that cloud cover is hanging around. So as we head through the next few hours or so, as we head through the afternoon, we'll get temperatures into the low to mid 70s for us with, again, a little bit of sunshine peeking through here and there. But for the most part, I think things are going to be on the cloudier side. And as we head into tonight, as you go to bed, we'll see temperatures in the low to mid 60s. Again, pretty normal for this time of year. The River Valley, we will see temperatures getting closer to 80 as we head through this afternoon, and then getting into the upper 60s as you head to bed. Rain chances, thankfully, besides tomorrow, they do spike up there. And then Saturday night into Sunday, we do have a rain chance. Otherwise, the weekdays are pretty dry, so we'll talk about that more as we head into your full forecast. Morgan?
Thanks, Danny. Well, the manhunt to capture escaped prisoner Grant Hardin continues in Arkansas, entering day 4 of the search. Hardin escaped from the North Central Unit in Calico Rock on Sunday afternoon. He was serving prison sentences for first-degree murder and rape. Both crimes happened in Benton County. We're learning more details from investigators now. They believe a corrections officer mistook him for a guard and let him walk out of the facility. They shared this surveillance image captured during the escape. Hardin, you can see, was disguised to look like a corrections officer when he walked out of the prison. Law enforcement agencies from across the state have been involved in the manhunt, working through rainy and foggy conditions to locate Hardin. Those efforts include checkpoints, searches with drones, as well as K-9 units. And right now, 5 News reporter Lauren Spencer is there on the ground in Calico Rock, not far from the prison. She's got an update this afternoon on where search efforts stand. Lauren, what are you learning about the efforts today?
Yeah, the search continues. We've received little, if no, new information from authorities, but officers continue to man checkpoints here in Izard County going into Calico Rock on those main roads. I'll let you take a look here. Since Sunday night, they've been checking cars, opening trunks, questioning drivers, trying to see if anyone has any information on Grant Hardin. There's still a large police presence here in Calico Rock. We've met investigators from near and far still working this case. We know that authorities are using a variety of tactics to search for Hardin: drones, canines, and these checkpoints. On Tuesday, we learned from an affidavit that a corrections officer opened the security gate for Hardin to leave while he was disguised as a makeshift law enforcement uniform. Because of that escape, we know Hardin is also facing new charges in Izard County. Residents tell me the incident has left the whole community on edge.
Everyone is on edge, for sure. A lot of people are packing, and no one's taking anything for granted, that's for sure. And as you can tell, it's been pretty busy.
We're trying to get answers from ADC today if that correction officer who let Hardin out will face any disciplinary action, as well as if Hardin had to go through multiple security measures in the prison to escape. We're working to get those answers, and we're going to let you know the latest here on 5 News. For now, I'm live in Calico Rock covering news where you live. Lauren Spencer, 5 News.
Thanks, Lauren. And we'll take another look at the photograph shared by authorities. The photo on the left is Hardin's latest prison mugshot, and the photo on the right was from surveillance video taken when Hardin walked out of the prison. Make sure you follow us on our website, 5newsonline.com, throughout the day for those updates on the search. Well, Arkansas State Police say a prosecutor deemed an officer who shot a man in Eureka Springs was justified. ASP says on May 1st, officers from multiple departments were serving a search and arrest warrant for Jeremy Coyle. ASP says Coyle would not exit his residence, and witnesses say he pointed a firearm at officers. A Berryville officer shot Coyle, who was pronounced dead at the scene. After an ASP investigation, a district prosecuting attorney said the use of deadly force was justified under the circumstances. Well, the cities of Fort Smith and Arkoma sat down to talk about a pending massive sewer rate hike from Fort Smith. Starting June 1st, Arkoma was supposed to see its sewer rates jump by up to 350%. Arkoma Mayor Joshua Johnson says the town is still pushing for a fair contract, but some on the board insist the rate hike is necessary to avoid subsidizing the smaller town.
To absorb the retail rate as a municipality and then try to pass that on to our customers, along with the intrinsic cost of running any system, just as you guys have, it's untenable.
If we go towards a wholesale rate for somebody, we are going to have citizen after citizen after citizen asking for that rate to us.
Turning their water off is not the answer. Prosecution is not the answer.
On Tuesday, the board made a request to city staff to come back with a different sewer rate plan for Arkoma to be formally adopted by the board at a future meeting. Well, in national news, the Trump administration has paused new student interviews, the latest action targeting international students hoping to attend colleges and universities in the U.S. It comes as the president escalates his attacks on Harvard University. Natalie Brand has the latest and student reaction.
As students at Harvard University prepare to celebrate commencement this week, they're sounding off against the Trump administration's latest threats to target the school's funding.
It just feels like our learning or the freedom of learning is under attack.
The administration has given federal agencies until next Friday to review an estimated $100 million worth of contracts with Harvard for termination or transition, accusing the university of discriminatory hiring practices and a lack of concern for the safety and well-being of Jewish students.
Everybody knows they're anti-Semitic, and that's got to stop immediately.
That's on top of President Trump's earlier move to cancel more than $2 billion in federal grants, a move Harvard is now challenging in court.
Cutting funding is very ridiculous. I think that research, funding, intellectual independence are things that have made the United States strong.
Harvard has also sued to stop the administration's efforts to block the school from enrolling foreign students, which a judge has paused. But now the State Department has ordered U.S. embassies to temporarily stop scheduling any new student visa appointments.
CBS News has learned the State Department is preparing for an expansion of social media screening and vetting of applicants.
Whether they be student or if you're a tourist who needs a visa or whoever you are, we're going to be looking at you.
Lawyers say the Trump administration has tried to end the legal status for thousands of international students, many over minor legal infractions. A federal judge has blocked that effort while the case plays out in court. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
The State Department says scheduling of non-immigrant visa interview appointments is dynamic and designed to ensure applicants do not pose a security or safety risk to the U.S. And Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. announced a major shift in COVID-19 vaccine guidance, removing children and pregnant women. The decision was made without input from the CDC's advisory panel, a break from typical protocol. Kennedy, the NIH, and the FDA criticized the previous administration's push for booster shots in children, calling it unsupported by clinical data.
Last year, the Biden administration urged healthy children to get yet another COVID shot despite the lack of any clinical data to support the repeat booster strategy in children.
That ends today. It's common sense and it's good science.
There's no evidence healthy kids need it today, and most countries have stopped recommending it for children.
While COVID-19 vaccines still remain available for now, experts say that access to shots for children and during pregnancy could get harder once Kennedy's changes are official. And it's been a month since Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders signed House Bill 1150 into law. It targets pharmacy benefit managers and how they operate in Arkansas. Pharmacy giant CVS threatened to close its stores in Arkansas because of the law. But as reporter Maya Ellison found out, It's still up in the air if CVS will actually close any Arkansas pharmacies.
I'm proud that Arkansas is leading on this issue. For far too long, the PBMs have been the drug middleman and frankly passed the cost on to the consumer.
That was Governor Sanders back in April when she shared her support for the then newly signed House Bill 1150, now known as Act 624.
Act 624 is actually a pretty relatively simple piece of legislation to explain. It just says you can't be both a price setter and a price taker.
It's a law introduced to target PBMs. They sit in the middle between patient insurance and pharmacies.
And they set the price of what the medicine costs. They decide which pharmacies a patient can use.
Arkansas Pharmacy Association CEO John Vinson broke down the language of the law. He explains that businesses like CVS, who own their own PBM, could potentially see the impacts.
Kroger has given up their PBM license and has chosen to be neutral on the legislation, versus CVS has not been, well, on TV commercials and in the paper and during the legislative session, they'd made statements that they would have to close their pharmacies.
It's a choice that's leaving many Arkansans with questions. So we reached out to CVS. They say because of the law, the state is forcing them to close 23 pharmacies and lay off more than 500 workers. That's led some to believe they're closing their doors. But in a statement shared with THV11, CVS says, quote, "We have not announced any plans to close stores, and we're evaluating any and all options we may have to keep our pharmacies open."
They're giving these companies a choice. You can sell, you can divest.
With Act 264 going into effect January 1st, 2026, CVS officials go on to say, quote, "Small businesses, employers, health plans, and others are going to have to pay more for prescription drugs starting next year." But Vincent says otherwise.
I believe it would create jobs, it would increase the number of pharmacies, and it would increase access at lower prices for consumers.
Well, in other news, Northwest Arkansas National Airport is upgrading its parking system to offer a checkout-free experience. XNA is partnering with an artificial intelligence company to make parking faster, easier, and more efficient for travelers.
As you can see behind me, there's a camera at our entry. There is a camera at our exit. The camera records your license plate. It records your car. It can see exactly when you drove in, when you drove out. When you get to the exit, it's going to do the same exact thing. It will say, okay, you were in short term, you were there for 2 days, here's what the rate card looks like, drive in, drive out, don't have to think about anything.
The new system will require you to download an app and register your vehicle and your payment information.